inside, she got the scoop on the ones to watch, on the ones that's hot. No one can do it quite like Caroline.
Hey, April Tomlin.
Hi.
What's up, girl?
Oh, not much. Just momming it out before I got here. That's about it. Momming and working.
Momming and working. Okay, so we were talking earlier, and you really are. You've been in every celebrity's bedroom. You're the celebrity interior designer to the stars, which is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's super kind, but I have been in quite a few bedrooms.
You've been in Tyler and Haley Hubbard's from Florida Georgia Line, Thomas Rhett and Lauren.
Yeah.
You did the Aldines, Jason and Brittany.
Yeah.
I know you just did Jesse James Decker and her husband Eric, who's a new Titan. Which is
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah, he is.
You helped us do our house.
Yeah,
Which is awesome.
I did.
So we got to get into how you got into the celeb world, but I want to start off with a few questions rapid fire.
Perfect, go.
So, in 10 words or less, describe your interior design style.
Gosh, that in 10 words or less.
Okay.
That's really hard because I have a pretty eclectic, but for me personally, so if you look at, Jason Aldean has a totally different style than Jesse James, they all have very different
So you have
styles.
to work with their personalities.
For sure. Yours, you have a super eclectic style. You like woods and colors and things like that, which I'm not known for, but when a client asks for something, that's what we tend to do. But we do do a little pushback. But I would say for me personally, I like pretty natural, organic, collected.
What does collected mean?
Collected, like I like finding like old pieces and just
Oh.
mixing them into a modern piece, and then rustic. So if you like, my dream home would be a little rustic, a little collected, meaning like I might like a weird old lady's face above my bed. Dude, and my husband.
Bless you. Every night.
Yeah. And my husband would be like, why in the world is that old lady staring at me while I go to bed? But I love that sort of thing. But I also like really sleek and clean. Like I don't like a lot of fuss and a lot of junk. So that's really weird when you say collected, because it's like simple collected. It can't just be stuff everywhere.
Do you use the collected as accents? Like accent pieces?
Yeah, collected I usually like more in art form.
Okay, like a painting or a picture.
Yeah, to seem old in like more of a modern space is what I like. Or if it was me to put in like an older piece. Or currently above my bed is this photograph of a bunch of nuns smoking cigarettes. So,
That's amazing.
So it's just weird, odd things like that I like. But then the rest of my bedroom's pretty like normal, So that's how I would describe my personal aesthetic. But then when we meet with a client, obviously we're gonna do whatever they like, but we put our own flair on it, our own taste, on it. So yeah.
To that question, I actually have a question to that.
Yeah.
How do you merge your vision with your client's vision? Because what if the client's vision is tacky?
So we vet out a little bit.
What does that mean?
So we talk to the clients before, and we have a range,
Of how far
how
you'll
far we'll
go
go.
away from your comfort zone?
Yes, yeah, and no matter who they are, to be honest, like of course we do have a pretty hefty, celebrity clientele list, but no matter who you are, even if you are Beyonce, she might be able to tell me to do something, and I might just say okay.
Yeah.
But other than that, other than Oprah maybe, but other than that, we vet them out and see if we match. Not to be rude.
Kind of like dating.
You got to be a good match. It's a long process, It's a long process. I mean, furniture, just alone without the construction. I was on a construction site today, this morning, and I'll complete that job next year. So I'll be working with this client way through next year. So you got to get along.
Wow, because do you
Gotta
start
get
at the
along.
beginning of the house building sometimes?
Yes, most of the time.
So is it usually clients that are building a home?
No, not
Or they
always.
just bought a home?
Not yeah, a lot like this client. She's actually in the music industry, but she is on the business side. She's a pretty powerful lady in that world, and I've done her house before. She's actually how I got into celebrities.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and now I'm on her third home for her. So yeah, we'll work together all year, and we work on from construction all the way through to the very, very end is how we like to work. But of course, some people already have homes that are done, and we'll do small renovations to make it fit what they want. And then down to the simple like online design. We have a program where if you're just getting started,
That's what we used.
Yes.
It was the best.
Yes, it's for a person that wants to start with a good foundation,
But not blow their bank.
right? But not blow the bank. And that's a really fun process for a lot of people, just because they get aboard with the drawings and the products and everything, and then they get to order at their own pace. And
Well, and this board is cool because it's so laid out. Basically, you send a email over, and there
Yeah.
is a board of links with pictures, and then the whole map of how the room should look.
yes,
And you can click on all of it and just order it.
Yeah.
It's just right
And just
there,
order it.
ready made.
Yeah.
It's like the best.
it's pretty great. it's pretty great. If it was my first home, and I didn't want, and I was willing to put in the work,
Yeah, totally.
A large reason why we're on projects from beginning to end for celebrities is they're gone all the time,
Right.
And even my non-celebrity clients, they're busy all the time, because usually if you're hiring a designer full time, you've made it somewhat in the world, and you're
Right.
busy. You know what I
Right.
mean? You do not have time. So I mean, we even worry down to like, oh my gosh, they're getting home? Is the toilet paper on all the rolls? I mean, like literally,
It's
down.
like ready made.
They walk in and they get to go live. You
Ah.
know, my house looks horrible. I don't know that my house has toilet paper right now. I could not.
Hey, you
So-
can't do it all.
I can't do-
But the clients are taken care of.
They're taken care
Their
of.
toilet paper is on the roll.
Yeah, my husband the other day said, "Can you just like not work for 6 months and get our house together?" And I was just like, "That
No.
sounds awesome, but no, that's not gonna happen."
So who would be your dream celebrity client?
Oh gosh, that is a great question. Do you know what? I don't know. I mean, someone crazy like Madonna.
Yes.
Like that would be, because in country music it's really heavily male dominated. We just got Kelsey Ballerini, and she's a great new addition to our process.
That's
And
amazing. She's
yeah,
got
she's
fun
great.
style.
She's so fun, and she's young, and we've got a long road, hopefully ahead with her, and we'll get to see that process grow. And anyway, but Madonna, I have a lot of male clients because there's a lot of male country singers. We all know that. There's not very many, the women are starting to rise up. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of men. So I would love a female. I would love to do, I'm known for a little more masculine. I would love to do super, like, kind of girly. But my style's edgy all the time. So I feel like Madonna would really like me.
I think she would.
Maybe not. Maybe she would hate me. But I feel like that would be a really fun.
Like push yourself
Oh.
outside of the box.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, today, the client that we had today, she's pretty edgy, and she said, no black and white, no gray, none of it. And
Okay, well that's your specialty.
that's kind of like what we do a lot of.
because you
and
have very clean.
yeah, and
white.
So I was in the car with my team. I have 3 girls that
No
work
black and white,
for
no
me.
gray?
No black and white, no gray. So I told the team, they're concepting while I'm gone. I've already started the kickoff of the concepting, but I showed them everything, and I said, this is the time you got to push yourself. Don't show me anything that's black or white or gray. And that's hard because everybody, production of furniture is usually in those colors. So it'll be really fun.
So do you enjoy having boundaries like that are like, okay, we're not doing black, white, and gray? Do you like having to think outside?
Because this client, I know what she's going for, and I can see it.
And you like her style.
And I like
so
her
it's a
style.
match.
Yes, it's not traditional or anything. She's not like saying, hey, do it traditional for me. She's saying, I want funky, I want over the top, you know what I mean? And I don't want black, white, or gray. And of course, there's going to be
Some
of
black,
that.
white, gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she knows me well, and she's saying, give me something different. And when you do it every single day, just like anybody's business, anybody that works anywhere, because I used to have an office job as well. And when you go in that environment or any environment, you want to shake it up. You want to change. I feel the same way,
So that's exciting.
yeah, it is. It gets really exciting when I hear projects like that. So, and then when people ask for exactly what I do, of course they're going to get a good product because I know exactly, it's easy to navigate for me at this point, So.
What is your nightmare color palette and like design palette? Like if you had to, you walk into a room and you're like, I'm in hell. What does that look like?
I don't know. Like anything, I don't know, because I've seen good with that too. Anything that's like that royal blue color. Like I've seen a lot
Wait,
of.
are we? This whole room is royal blue, right?
Yes. Basically,
we
the
hate it?
room we're in, I hate.
This is how.
Time in hell, guys. This is how, yes. There's a lot of green and purple and blue. This is a set. Thank the Lord.
Where do you gather your inspiration for designing? Where did you learn how to design?
So that's a really interesting story. So I was raised with a single mom.
Okay.
And we barely had a pot to pee in. We really did not have much.
Was it just you and your mom?
And my brother.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Were you close with your brother?
Yes. And so my dad left very early on, and my mom's just the sweetest. I mean, there could not be a better woman. So she did real estate. She ran my grandfather's plumbing company, and she got her contractor's license and was building homes when I was a kid. So when we didn't have money for babysitters, so we would just kind of have to like go with her everywhere. So I would have to go on her listings, and I would just be sitting there, and I think she says I was like 8 or 9, and I would start moving furniture around.
Like you knew where you wanted it to go?
Yes, I knew, I did. And then one day she actually came in. We were at home unsupervised because that's when you do when you're poor and you don't have any money for babysitters. Probably not a good thing. I can't imagine leaving Everly, but I was left. And she got home, and me and my brother had painted like half of her room as high as we could reach. And we were like 8 or 9 years old, so I was always doing things like that. So, I've always, I think it was just that, I would be embarrassed when people would come over because we just didn't have a lot, like, of stuff on the walls. It just didn't feel homey to me. It just didn't. And she did the best that she could.
Right.
But so I really have a passion when people come in that they feel like they're at home. People don't, it's not a materialistic job. It's not as materialistic as you would think because, having a space, like when I think of my space for my daughter, the thing I want her to feel is safe.
Right.
I want her to feel like it's hers.
Right.
I want her to always feel like she can come back. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I want her to have pieces that aren't going to be thrown away. Like
Yes,
I want her to have
meaningful.
pieces that she remembers, And so it's very hard to design in a way that's going to kind of last, but be cool right now. So I really try to do both of those things. But yeah, so it wasn't like a materialistic wanting to get into design. It was like probably more of like a insecurity or a need or
and then just sort of
something
growing up,
different.
seeing your mom
Yeah, for sure.
doing that.
Yeah, and I think design comes naturally to people. Obviously, I'm trained, but
Did you go to school to learn?
Yeah, and so I have one of my main designers is not, and we interviewed a lot of people, and she's the best.
She has it. The knack.
She has it, and I think I get a lot of direct messages about how people can get in, and I would always encourage everybody to go to school and learn.
Okay, so that is
know what
essential?
I mean? Yeah, even if you don't get a degree, you need to at least go to some classes because like this morning alone, I've been on the phone with electricians and plumbers, and you really need to know a house, and like you can't really. I'm heavily insured because when we do renovations, obviously you need to be able to do those renovations with confidence and know what you're doing. You don't want to get into someone's house and interrupt their way of life, and I've seen that happen. But I do feel like aesthetics are a natural thing. It really is hard to teach.
You either have it or you don't.
Yeah, I think so. Again, like I've never hired and like carried someone that was a bad designer through my process, but like I said, my main girl, she does not have a degree, and she's and she never went to one class, but she did build her own home.
So she
before,
knew. Okay.
From scratch, from the ground up.
So she learned. She
And
kind of had like.
She learned. She really did. And now, as far as like Nashville, obviously has the most cranes in the sky. It's hard to get permits here. It's hard to do work here. She knows codes and everything. So
So she kind of did her own little schooling.
Yeah, she did. She did. So you at least have to, start there. But I tell everybody how I got actually started is.
And did you just start off with your own business? Because you're only 35 and you're running a thriving business.
Yeah. So actually, I don't think she would care that I say this, but her name's Mary Hilliard. She is the house that I'm doing that I've been talking about. She's the one that introduced me to clients. But she's also was a mentor very early on because she owns her own very successful business. And I remember I was leaving my full-time job and I called her, and I was already doing Jason's house, and she was the one who was like, you cannot do a 40-hour work week and this on the side. And I called her. I was like, I'm going to be working at like some furniture store and I don't want to. And she's like, no, you won't. So I think it's everybody that starts their own thing, it's a huge risk. You know?
It is.
It's
Did
scary.
you start your own thing right at the beginning, or did you already have some houses under your belt?
Oh, I had houses under my belt.
Okay.
I worked
Were you with another company originally?
Yes, and I was doing like a bunch of set design stuff and design for them, but I had a salary, you know.
And that's secure.
And
that
then,
feels secure.
Yeah, and
then you're like, oh, let me go dive into the world.
Yeah,
of
so I
unknown.
would work till like, oh my gosh, like 2 a.m. Like, thank God those clients would let me stay in their house because they were gone or whatever, and I would work throughout the night, and then one day it became, I had already brought on that first designer that I have mentioned previously.
Within the company you're working with?
Yes, and we would meet, sorry for the company I was working for before, but we would meet on my lunch break.
Oh, so you were already kind of secretly starting your
Yes.
other one. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Hey, you got to get
Gotta
going.
do what you gotta do.
Gotta do it.
Gotta do it. And so sorry about that, but we would meet on my lunch break and talk about what clients we had going on or whatever. And then finally one day I was just like, I have to quit. I have done enough work. But since you've heard my story and kind of where I come from, it's hard to walk away from a salaried
Oh
thing.
my
I mean, my
gosh.
mom was like, are you crazy?
That feels crazy.
Yes, because I had no fallback.
So-
like, there's nobody to help me out if I didn't make it. Like, literally
You're sinking or swimming.
sinking or swimming. And that's a legit thing. It would be me getting my car, driving back to Memphis, and living with my mom. That would be my backup plan.
Okay, so luckily it went opposite.
It went
and you
opposite.
killed it. But how do you feel in that moment where you quit your job, you have this nice paying salary job, it's probably very respectful, you could stay there forever.
Yeah.
How does it feel in that moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to jump and take this leap of faith? To me, that's like really going for your calling, like pursuing it with your full heart. And you're like, okay, I'm like flying out over
That's what it felt like.
this ledge, and I pray to God I got a parachute. Like, what does that feel like? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. No, I do. I cried the whole way home. I was just like, there's just, there.
How did you know it was time?
Because I was so overworked. And I wasn't doing anything justice. It wasn't fair to my employer, obviously. And it also, it wasn't fair to the clients. Like, I knew that I could be faster, more efficient. The design's still the same, right? But there is a method to an interior design business. I mean, we have a process, and that process works. And it's not just about flying into your house and saying,
What is the process?
So if it's a regular client, we have our first initial meeting where we walk their home or whatever. We do not shop with clients. It's not something that we do. Some people do it.
That's probably a lot of wasted time. It's
It
probably
is.
better for you to talk to them, get their vision,
We fully
then you
concept.
send ideas.
Yes, we fully concept. They come into our office and we do full presentations with all of our samplings
And do they say yes, yes, yes,
and
no,
everything.
no, no?
We always give them time. We never ask for any responses. Actually, we ask for no responses. And then they're able to go home, talk to whoever they need to talk to, think about it. And then we always just ask them to kind of circle what they like. And we can tell kind of what we've hit the mark on and what we've missed the mark on. And once we've established on what we're going to do, if there's renovations involved, we start there. If it's just furniture planning, we have a whole ordering process. We have a way that we order, a place that it's sent, install period of time, and it's all scheduled, and so they kind of know what's going to happen exactly down to the day, basically.
And it usually stays on schedule.
We are pretty well known for staying on schedule because can be a little bit of a bitch when it comes
But
to
women
not
get
being
that
on.
rap. But
Yes.
it's not, bitch. It's just being running a business.
Yeah. Well,
You want it done when it's supposed to be done.
yeah, and it design and construction can be really loose. It can be really loose. And,
Oh my gosh, we built a garage. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be done in 3 months. It was done in 8 months.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of, and I hate that because really we do set realistic expectation though. I would say that that's key. That's how we stay on time. We
Yes.
never, like, if a client comes to me and like, I want this done in 2 months, I'm like, find somebody else. It's
Yes.
not happening.
That's awesome. You're
Not
honest and
happening.
upfront
No.
about what you can deliver.
No,
and the
I could
time.
deliver something. It's not going to be good, and you're going to call me back in a couple months, and have problems here and there, and because experience teaches you that too. So, but yeah, so we have a pretty thorough process. And sometimes I'll look at Keaton, who is, she's not the designer girl I was telling you about, but she's like my right hand. If you want to know something that's going on in your job, every client knows to not call me, to call Keaton.
Talk to Keaton.
And Keaton, I'll every once in a while be like, what does our waiting list look like? And it's that poor kid coming out of me like I'm about to be eating ramen noodles or something. But she's like, would you chill out?
Like, because you want to make sure there's a nice waiting list?
Yeah, like, do people still want to do this? Like, so she's just like, April, you're fine. Like, it's fine. We've got clients for days. Just breathe and relax. And so what's great is now that I have a daughter, she quickly has become way more important than work for me.
How is that, being a career woman and a mother? Tell me about that balance.
I love it.
How do you make it balanced?
So at the beginning, my mom came to watch her, and she ended up developing rheumatoid arthritis, and so now she just kind of comes as is. But we are actually surrounded with people that watch our kids that are family. It's not my sister-in-law. It's like my sister-in-law's sister-in-law, but she watches her.
That's awesome.
I'm not going to lie, the lady that cleans my house, who's like my family, she watches her some too.
That's awesome.
But she's like in the hands of people that genuinely
love her.
So I'm able to, but I have friends and they go and their kids go to daycare and I mean, it's just single moms. I can't, and working moms. I have it very easy. I have it very easy.
Great support.
I have great support. We have a whole big office in my home.
So you can work from home? So
all of
someone
our
can
team's
watch
there.
your child be there, but you're there.
I try not to go down because she obviously wants her mom before anybody else, and it really creates this like the person that's watching her is like, really, seriously, get out of here, because now I'm left with the baggage when you leave.
Screaming baby.
Yeah, and so I try to really just work. But you know what? Rachel Zoe is like a huge
I love her.
Love.
Is that one of your inspirations?
Yeah. Love her. And I read her book, gosh, when I was in my younger 20s. And
what did you learn from that book?
Well, I learned a lot about fashion because it was all about fashion. But then, I watched the whole show when she was trying to, considering getting pregnant and, all these different kinds of things. And I read some statement that she said, years later, and she just said, I am so much more efficient. And that's what happens.
That makes sense, because you can't just lollygag.
No.
And like what would take 10 minutes and
just
do an hour to do it. You have to do it in the 10 minutes.
Yeah, so, our office vibes have changed a smidge because, we used to chitty chat a little bit more, and now it is like, 9 to 5, I'm walking out that door at 5, so we got to get everything done by then. And we do. We get it done.
Yeah.
Of course, I've hired more people and things like that, which has made, I'm so glad I waited till a little bit later to get pregnant and have a baby. But yeah, it's efficiency. You as a mom, like I'm actually think to myself sometimes, I'm like, did I do all that? I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I did that.
I'm a badass.
Kinda, yeah, that's what I think. But you know what? I think that every woman that works or doesn't work, I take Thursdays off. Hardest day of my life. Hardest day of my life.
With Everly all day.
Hardest day of my life. It's way harder.
It is. Like having a child all day is so exhausting, right?
Yeah, and so I challenged myself to do that.
You take Thursdays off?
Yeah, I really wanted some uninterrupted time. I don't take phone calls. You can ask my clients. They get super
this.
annoyed.
But that's a great balance that you've worked into your life.
And so I have Thursdays with Everly, and of course the weekends. My personal life, I have none. It's just Everly and work and my husband right now. But with Everly on Thursdays, it's obviously amazing. But if you are a mother, you know what I'm saying. It is the hardest thing because they sleep and then they play, and
they don't stop.
We're on the floor playing, and I'm thinking I've got to be more creative in that day than I ever do doing anyone's home, because it's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do next?
Totally, because they need constant stimulation.
Oh yeah, all of my clients right now are pregnant, and they're all like, how do I hide all this crap? I'm like, you don't. You can try. I'll give you 2 months, and then we'll rediscuss. I've got 3 jumpers in my living room, and that's something that you should not say as a mom, because you don't just stick your kids in jumpers all the time. But I don't. Let me
clarify.
I do not stick my child in a jumper all day long, but she likes different ones. And now she likes to hold on to the edges and explore in between the 3. So they're just literally in my living room with a pack and play, with the toys. And I'm like, welcome to my home.
Come on in. I love it.
It's babies are us in here.
It is. I'm telling you, everyone I know is having babies. It's baby season.
Baby season.
And I love you because you have found a balance where you still have your career, your marriage, everything, and a child. And I think that is absolutely incredible to see a woman doing that.
Thank you.
Because it's hard.
It's hard. It's hard. It might be harder being a stay-at-home mom, but it's also hard to work and be away from your kids, and I just you have a lot of guilt. You have all these different factors.
I know, mom guilt's a legit thing, isn't it?
It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
And there's guilt about everything, right?
I always tell myself, I'm like, good Lord, my mom worked 3 jobs. We had nothing, and I love her more than, she is just right on up there with Everly and my husband. They're all on the same line for me. And she did not stay home with me. She did not coddle me. She did not baby me. She couldn't,
Yep.
And so I think about my daughter and the privileged life that I live, honestly. And I think, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're working. It doesn't matter if you're staying at home. Like, your kid, if you love them, they're going to love you right back, and they're not going to remember. And so anytime I'm gone for 8 hours during the day or whatever, I just say to myself, she is going to one day appreciate this,
and she's going to appreciate that you worked hard and that you had a passion and you followed through with it.
And maybe she wants to be a designer, and hell, that would be pretty
What if
great.
we want to do business together?
Yeah. My other designer just had a little girl, and we always talk about, we're like, what if my daughter's name is Everly and her daughter's name is Serena? And we're like, what if Everly and Serena one day took this over? I'd be out and I'd be in the Caribbean. And
would that not be heaven?
Yeah. I always tell my husband, he's like, "What are you ever thinking about quitting?" And I'm like, yeah, when Everly takes over, I'll quit.
That's perfect. So you love it. Like, do you need this to be yourself?
I think so. I need, again, I think because of where I come from, I need to, I don't know how to say this without sounding like I need therapy, but
we all need therapy. I love therapy.
But exactly.
I lived in therapy straight for a year.
I like to know that I'm contributing. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
I like
because
to
you're
say,
able to.
Yeah, I like to say, hey, honey, I'm getting this light for our dining room. And then that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting this light for our dining room.
Right.
I don't want to ask, and he would give freely and gladly. But I like to be in a position where I just don't. I can provide. I can fend for myself. And again, that's where I come from. That's what I saw.
Totally.
So
I think that's great, though.
Therapists hit me up. I probably need to talk through that. But
you found something you love, though, too.
I wouldn't probably do any job and sacrifice my time with my child if I didn't have to be honest. But this is something that I just don't. Actually, one of the conversations that my husband and I had was, yes, I could totally quit. Think about how much money I would spend in our house. If I was here all day looking at everything.
It's best I'm looking at other people's houses.
Totally best that I'm looking at other people's houses.
And getting paid for it.
Yeah, because I can see something that I love and I'm like, ooh, that should go there. Versus, ooh, this should come with me.
Yes.
And he's like, great point, April. I was like, yeah, I'm saving a lot of money. Outside of the money I'm bringing in, I'm saving as a whole lot of money. So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up. Before I do that, what's your best experience, the best experience you had designing a house and the worst experience? Do you have any that come to mind?
Gosh.
Like one that just set you on fire, like happiness.
Yeah, so I've had, actually they're kind of all in a tie, and they all have the same exact denominator, which is a client that trusts the vision and that will
That's your best.
Just let up the reins. The clients that are the happiest and the experiences that I've had where I'm everybody's the happiest is when they don't quite get it. It's your home. I get it. I would want to know everything that was going on. I would want to know down to the candle what I'm paying for and what was coming into my house. The best experience, though, are when people, and it's usually on their second home, third home, when they're like, you go. I trust you. And they mean it, and they don't ask any questions. And then they come home, or they go through the experience, and it's it is a lot more flawless. And so that would be my best.
You can stay fluid with your vision. It doesn't get little
chopped
roadblocks,
up.
choppy.
Yeah, chopped up. Yeah, it can get really chopped up.
It's a flow experience for you,
flow.
probably.
That's what I tell everybody. Your house should honestly, from the time you walk through the front to the back, it should feel
Like an ocean wave?
Yeah, it should. You should feel like you're going through. That's some of the most impressive homes to me is when you walk from the front to back and every room's different, but every room's the same.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You
Yes.
feel like you're in the same home, but every room's so different.
Yes.
And that there's a creative element, something that you haven't seen before. That's not like the #1 pin on Pinterest. Mm-hmm. And so those are my favorites, and there's a couple that's happened for. My worst is when the team, you've got contractors, architects, designers, and then all your subs, and you have to work as a team. And I just got off this one job, man, and it was a disaster because the contractor was not from Nashville, so they were hired out from somewhere else, and they came on, and it was just woo, it was bad, and there was a lot of money wasted.
To work together.
It wasn't that. There's a lot that goes into it. A lot of things that were happening that shouldn't have been happening, and there's a lot of rules when you're designing and you're building, and those rules were being broken. And of course, I've been with the client for a long time, and so I was the one that has to bring all that to light. And those are really hard conversations. That contractor's no longer on the job, and we're continuing, but with another contractor. But it was it made me sick to my stomach. Some of the conversations, when things go wrong in a house, it can cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And those conversations, when you see it happening or you're even a part of it or whatever's going on, they're gut-wrenching. Like, you can lose sleep at night because it's, you rip out things and there's mold everywhere. And you can tell people that up front, but then it's like you never think it's going to happen to you.
No one's ever excited about it or probably in a good mood about it.
No, right. And I just had this door that got made, and it was supposed to be beautiful, and it's not. And it's so expensive. But, the great thing is when you establish your company, you do have money to move. And so obviously I eat that cost because I'm in charge.
Right.
But it's hard to get that phone call. And thank God it's just a door. I mean, I've seen it be whole rooms, not for me, but for other people. And it was just a door. We'll eat it. We'll change it or whatever. But it's just as a business owner, you have to have a lot of conversations with a lot of different people. You're yelling at one person over here from the door, and then you're having to eat crow over here and totally take the blame because, I didn't make the door. I as soon as I saw it, I brought it, I fixed it, but I still am responsible. And so those are some super hard conversations. Some of the clients like Thomas Rhett and Lauren Rhett, and they're Aikens, they're such solid people, and because
sweetest.
they go and they see other third world countries, they're the easiest people because
they're just so loving in their heart. They know how
they
blessed
just know what's important and what's not. And I did Willa's room, and
because they adopted the sweetest little baby. Was it from Haiti?
Yeah, and so she's
calling. You gave it to her pro bono? You just did it as a gift?
Yeah, but I did her room, and she just called me, and she was just like, these are the things that I want to, I want to be a part of it, but you do you, and we did, and they loved it, and so she gets it that it's just and no stress. She came home, a couple things weren't done. She's like, it's fine. Willa Gray can sleep in my bed for a while if she has to, So it's the perspective is great because of what they see and where they go and travel and stuff.
That's
so it's pretty
true.
Cool. Yeah.
Just having a good perspective about what really matters.
We all lose it. We all lose perspective.
You want a great house, but at the end of the day, we're not dying of cancer here.
Right.
Yeah.
Luckily, with where I come from and everything, I still have that family. I didn't lose them, and so they're the sweetest people ever. But I gained perspective very quickly because they don't have everything, and they never will, and so I'm always very reminded that not all of us get to live with designers and people that they hire to do their house to do their houses, and so it's good to have that. And if you don't have it, go find it.
I agree. Okay, so the last question. Yeah. After everything you've lived through, all that you've done and accomplished, everyone that you've seen and worked with, leave your light. So leave some inspiration of how you have been inspired or how you would like to inspire people.
It's going to sound really weird, but I live pretty simply as far as some people find it so fascinating when they walk into my closet because I just don't have a lot of clothes. Because if I'm not wearing them and I see anybody, I just give them all away. And you could ask any friend of mine, they're like, can I borrow something? I'm like, yeah, you could. There's not a lot here. And so I would say that is is something that I always try to remember, because in the world of interior design, it can be super materialistic, and you can get caught up in things that are just really just don't matter. So I always, what I try to do in reality, like not some big slogan, because I don't remember slogans, but in reality, like I always just kind of look around, and whether it's my housekeeper or whether it is someone else's, or I have friends that are teachers who have 4 underprivileged schools, and I'll just go through my closet and go through my life and just take all of the crap and just send it away. You know what I mean? I don't need a tax write-off for it. I don't have to give it to something where I'm going to receive something. It's just I just give it away. And I'm saying it now because you asked, but I would say the other most important thing is to do it quietly. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
Is to do things a little more quietly, because I just feel like that's how you receive your rewards in heaven, is to do things quietly. And so you don't have to be a known philanthropist to be able to, give things away. And another pet peeve that I have as far as giving things away is when I hear people say, I will not give that homeless person money because he's probably going to drink. I literally want to die every time I hear that, because it's not really any of
our business.
And if they do, you know what? I would probably drink every day too if that was my position in life.
Right.
And, it's my responsibility to give. It's not my responsibility to
assign how they use it.
Yeah. So.
April Tomlin. Saint April Tomlin.
Shit, that's not true.
You're a shit.
Not true.
You are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks
for
having me. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're incredible.
I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for giving me an hour of your time. I know you're so busy.
Oh my gosh, nobody's that busy.
Yes.
Maybe president, but that's about it.
Thank you all for joining us for Hyperkilling Hobby Podcast with the beautiful April Tomlin.
Caroline, she's the queen of talking. Hey, what's on your mind? She's on the inside, she got the scoop on the ones to watch, on the ones that's
Teal Audio's newest speaker line, the Aurora Livestream speakers, are designed to fit seamlessly into your home with its wide range of connectivity. To check out the latest speaker line, go to tealaudio.com.